Hello, I'm Martin Dorfling from Cataclysmic Science. So this is part 2 of the data analysis and presupposition series. So in order to understand what's happening here, please go check out the first part. Now, this is in the first part we explained this three worldviews that people have. We have the Genesis account, the Darwinian evolution group, and the Mysticism, which I have to rename to New Age movement. I think that better describes them. Now, previously, I showed you my archaeological paradigm tool that I've built based on all my presuppositions and ideas and everything. Now, today in this video, part 2, I'm going to discuss the group here, the Mysticism or extraterrestrial, or as I say, the New Age movement group, and their worldviews, how they would analyze the data. What is the foundation that they stand on? Now, as I said, to build this paradigm model, we need a source. We need a geological mechanism for the that drives the world, and then also population number. Always important thing to look at if you want to build a advanced ancient civilization, because you need some manpower, or maybe that's my assumption. Now, the sources for this view, for the mysticism or the New Age view, guys. So I just basically went on the internet. I watched this one video from Spirit World that explains. But I think these are three of the big guys that drives this. Them being the source. So the first guy is Trinvalo Melchizedek. He's still alive. And so he is a New Age spiritual authority that's channeling two light beings. I think the one guy's name being is Fourth that he channels, and this guy, or this being, this extra dimensional being, is channeled through him and tells him all these things. Then Zechariah Stitchen, 1920 to 2010, he was a book author on human origins involving ancient astronauts. He wrote about the Nibiru idea and the Anunnaki. Then the third guy, Edgar Cayce, 1877 to 1945. So he's the guy that coined the belief system called New Age movement. He's, I want to say, maybe the founder, but I'm not sure, guys, because this is not my presuppositions, and this is not my worldview that I stand on. So it's up to this group actually to define themselves more. So yeah, this Edgar Cayce was a clairvoyant or a channeler of other dimensional beings, again getting his information from there and telling them where the history comes from. Right, so as they describe between them the histories, there was the people many millions of years ago, and then they evolved, and somewhere the Anunnaki was there. But our story jumps a bit forward to 50,000 years or more ago, according to their timeline and everything. So there was this island, which is where Atlantis is founded, 10 or 12 kingdoms, I'm not sure, with the main part is the ring structure, where so in the middle the Nakals lived. Those are the wise or very conscious beings, and then the Mayan priests around them, and then the Lemurians came there from all over. So that's the Earthlings or the Atlanteans, what we call today. So they came there in the millions. And that's their human history, which is being channeled to them through these beings that they speak to. Now, they talk a lot about the precession of the equinox and how it moves through different phases, and the consciousness paths grow, and even other beings joined the people there on the Atlantean continent. The Hebrew space travelers came and joined them, and also the Martians, which came from Mars, and that the Luciferian experiment, they called it. Now then, So what they channeled is they said there's some polar shifts, and these polar shifts cause earthquakes and tsunamis, and there was 26,000 years ago there was one, and then again 13,000 years ago there was one, and then along with that there was also a meteorite that approached Earth and struck Earth, and this was between 16 and 13,000 years ago, and there was a big pole shift again also coming up 13,000 years. I'm not sure if it's 13,000 BC or 13,000 from today. Any case, so in order to kind of save the people a lot, this one guy, Fourth, it's one of the beings being channeled by the one guy currently. He's there in the picture up there with the green bird face. He claims 200 years before that 13,000 year polar shift, he went and he built the pyramids on the ley lines to help protect the people's consciousness. So this Atlantean island, some believe, are on the Bermuda Triangle located there. And the meteorite struck one of the islands where the Martians lived, killing many of them, so there was a lot of unhappiness. Now, with this polar shift, their consciousness dropped, and they say for humanity to survive, they need to reach a full consciousness. They call it a Christ consciousness, but it takes 100,000 plus years through evolution for the people to reach it. But humanity need to reach it before the next 13,000 years of polar shift again in order to survive. And so these beings, they're on a picture, they sit and they watch now over humanity, and every now and then come from another dimension, encounter, goes to those people and tell them how to make fire, how to build a wheel and raise the civilizations. So the big conscious fall came 30,000 years ago, 6,500 years. They started having influence of the people, and they started building the first civilizations like the Sumerians and the Egyptians. So, okay, based on population, they say there were several millions of Lemurians on Atlantis, or Atlanteans, the people from Earth. And then obviously there was the small meteorite, the pole shift, and some ice age influence. So I think they tried to say the population fell down. That's kind of what I'm inferring, but obviously people that in this group, they should actually please give the data how they see it, their population numbers of humanity. Now, then the geological model is kind of flatline because they also rely on the uniformitarianism model, with just some pole shifts in between every 13,000 years. They said it took longer previously, and this pole shifts cause some earthquakes and tsunamis, maybe some volcanoes. There was the one meteorite, and then also just after the last 13,000 years ago pole shift, there was kind of ice age, and the ice melted and causing some localized floods. Now, just to compare it quickly, on the side there's that orange dotted lines, that's the hydroplate theory. That comes from my worldview, right? That's not from theirs. I'm just comparing like the cataclysmic flood from the hydroplate theory versus the pole shift, the meteorite strikes. Just want to give you an indication of how cataclysmic event it is, the forces, the dynamic forces on Earth. So it's much smaller than the hydroplate event. So, okay, the intelligence level, this is now their claim to the advanced civilizations that's on Earth. So obviously for millions of years, they say that people evolved, I think that's also what I believe, evolved from monkeys and things. Then 500,000 years ago, there was the Anunnaki, and they had these people, helped them become also more intelligent, or enslaved them to mine gold for them. And so eventually there was also some water that rose, and the people had to flee other parts of the world, and they all moved to Atlantis. So that's the Lemurians, that's people of Earth. They moved to Atlantis, became the Atlanteans. And so this is where those the people that the beings that joined them was that Hebrew time travelers, space travelers, and the Martians from Mars with their Luciferian experiment. They had the influence on the people, but the main were the Nakal beings in the center of the Atlantis that was high consciousness and the advancedness of their civilization. Then with the polar shift, here's the thing. So the polar shift, they say, caused electromagnetic influence on the people's brainwaves, and that dropped their consciousness down from being smart, intelligent, advanced civilization, down back to the Stone Age concept idea. They were people lost their consciousness, so their intelligence, their advancedness. So this figure shows the advancedness of the civilization. And then, like I said, they have to, according to their idea, in 13,000 years, raise the consciousness and advancedness of the people. So the Nakals still, I think it's them, or those, that fourth creature that built the pyramids, watching over the people, and every now and then intervenes and help that to create that the Sumerian, Egyptian civilization and many other civilizations. So from there on, we've got all these other civilizations. So these all three pictures, remember, we have to merge it together. So now we have our archaeological paradigm tool to use for data analysis. And yeah, that is basically how it stacks up on top of each other. Yeah, see you guys in the next video, part 3. I will discuss the Darwinian evolution worldview paradigm.